And as for the people of bid'ah, who we don't spend time with, and we don't spend company with, these in our times are mainly two main groups: the Wahhabis and the Shia. Why? Because the Wahhabis are trying, and both of these try to change the deen away from Sunni Islam. And so everybody is welcome. And many of the Shia have come to the Tariq, or a number of the Shia who have come to the Tariq, and we stipulate that they become Sunnis, because Sunni Islam is the true Islam. And everything else is a sect, Qadianism and so these other things, these are sects. And Shiism is a sect also. And we do not say that these other groups are non-Muslims. Some cases they definitely are non-Muslims, like the Druze, for example, are definitely non-Muslims. Those who say that the Salat is not obligatory for us. There are formerly Islamic polities that changed and said, we don't have to pray because that's not part of our version of Islam. There isn't any 5 Salats for us. Or like the Baha'is who have prayed towards Akka in Palestine or something like this. These are non-Islamic groups, and so we don't have anything to do with them, and they don't have anything to do with Islam anymore. But the others, the Wahhabis, are Muslims, and they deserve our respect as much as they're Muslim. But we don't sit with them because they have some bid'ah. What is their bid'ah? Their bid'ah is takfir, is declaring people who are Muslims to be non-Muslims. They say that people who are Muslims who make tawassul through Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam are non-Muslims. They've committed shirk, and this is merely bid'ah from them that they made up. They pulled that out of their hat, and they're trying to propagate it across the Islamic world. It's simply wrong. There's nobody, even if it was a mistake to make tawassul, and there are sahih hadiths about tawassul. And all of the 4 madhabs of Sunni Islam promote tawassul and say that it is valid and it is true. And the fuqaha are the ones we ask about it, not the Wahhabis. And so for this bid'ah and their bid'ah of takfir of the Muslims, we say that they're ahl bid'ah, and so we don't hang around them. And they're not welcome until they relinquish their Wahhabism. And so this is one. The Shia, they draw nearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by maligning the greatest of the awliya, the Sahaba. And many of them say that all of the Sahaba committed kufr after the Messenger of Allah, except 17 of the Sahaba, who do not include Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman. And for this reason, we say, marhaba, you're over there, and we're over here, and everything's all right. And so we don't espouse this either. And Shiism, by the way, is on the move, and we have to be on the move also. They're spending a lot of money these days trying to Shiite the world, and they will never succeed, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the deen mateen, the true deen of Allah is strong. And inshallah ta'ala, their money, or after the ocean of money recedes, it will leave the flotsam on the shore, and they're spreading, what they're spreading will recede also. So nasallahu tawfiq wa taysir. So these 2 groups that I've mentioned, these are the main Ahlul Bid'ah groups, and we don't have anything to do with them. The Ikhwan al-Muslimin is a group of activists who believe that they're helping the Ummah with everything that they can help. A lot of other groups of activist groups and so forth, we say marhaba, you have as long as they do not make harm for the other Muslims. They have, each one has their own wijha that they're turning towards in their own direction. And the Tablighi Jamaat has a lot of good and sincere people in it. And we love them for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we honor them because it is a true path. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam indicated there's a difference between a school of thought and between a sect. A sect is something that demeans and considers everyone that's not in the sect to be a donkey, or to be a non-Muslim, or to be something like out of the pale, beyond the pale of Islam, like the Shiite do and like the Wahhabis do. and so forth, and the Qadianis do, and so these are sects. And as for Ahl Sunnah, we honor all of these schools of thought. And whether they're schools of hadith authentication, Ibn Ma'in and Bukhari had a different school of thought in hadith authentication than Muslim and others, and so forth. They were different schools of thought. The Hanafi school is different than the Shafi'i school, and we honor each other. And there's no problem whatsoever between us, except among bigots and people who are small-minded. And the Rafai tariqah is a tremendous tariqah. It's a great tariqah. Ahmad al-Rifai is one of the first thing that Sheikh Abdul Rahman said when I gave him the silsila poster, the one that we printed up in Turkey. We gave him the silsila poster, and he says, "Where's Ahmad al-Rifai?" I said, "Here." And pointed to the name. He's in our silsila. They're all connected. And he said, "Where's Abdul Qadir al-Jailani?" It's founder of the Qadiri tariqah. And we pointed here, and he said, "Here it is." And so he was satisfied. He asked those two questions. He didn't ask anything else about it. And so all of the tariqahs of Ahl al-Haq, of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, are on Haq. And Muslims are free to organize themselves into groups that promote the khair, as the Tablighi Jamaat has, and as various faith movements have. And they have a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for doing so. Ta'awanu ala birri wa taqwa. And cooperating and doing goodness. And so someone has unfortunately gained the misimpression that I castigate or I speak against or say things against the Tablighi Jamaat. And I wanted to straighten that out here and now for everybody, that we have to know who are Ahlul Bid'ah. It's not the Tablighi Jamaat are not of this category, but rather the Wahhabis and the Shiites are of this category. And these are the ones that we distinguish. We honor them as Muslims. We don't make takfir of any of these, because they have the 5 prayers and they face the Qibla and so forth. And they have Iman, it's true, but they have a mistaken interpretation, and they do some things that are wrong, and they've made their wrong actions, in one case takfir, and in the other case the seb of the Sahaba, the maligning of the Sahaba. They make that part of their deen, and for this reason they are termed Ahlul Bid'ah. Because they make something that is haram as something that is wajib, or something that one should do in their deen, and that's the way they consider it. So we say we have nothing to do with your understanding. We have our own understanding of the deen, and this is the way of the broad khat of Islam, the broad line of Islam, in the wide road of Islam, has been with Ahl Sunnah. And 92% of the Muslims are Sunnis. And inshallah ta'ala, we welcome everyone. Whenever we see anybody in the masjid, the Tablighi Jamaat, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, that there's someone making dhikr and there's someone there who is working for something good. Alhamdulillah wa shukrillah. So let he who is present carry my words to he who is absent. And I see that our time is just